Hey, thank you for tuning in to this special episode. Tonight, you're diving into a summer camping trip with five friends that takes an unexpected turn from quiet romance under the stars to a mysterious figure appearing at the edge of the woods. Make sure to subscribe for more bedtime stories like this, and comment below if you've ever had a camping night you'll never forget. We from Sleep Mode Stories wish you a peaceful, safe, and restful night. Let's start. A camping night to remember for all the wrong reasons. Part 1. The Field, Summer 2016. It was the last weekend of July 2016, and the air was thick with summer. The kind of summer that made time feel slower, where nights stretched long and warm like melting caramel. 4 or 5 friends, Jake, Nora, Felix, Lena, and Tom. This weekend was sacred. School was out. College still felt far away, and everything felt possible. They had planned this camping trip for weeks. Felix's uncle owned a wide, open field on the edge of forest just outside their town in Dorset, England. It wasn't too wild, but it was far enough from the city to feel like an adventure. "Okay, team," Jake said, hoisting a bag of supplies out of the boot of Felix's dad's car. "Operation Freedom begins now." Tom groaned. "You are the least stealthy person I've ever met." "It's a camping trip, not a covert mission," Nora added with a grin. The group laughed as they unloaded the tents, folding chairs, and a cooler full of questionable snack choices. The field was surrounded by tall grass and bordered by pine trees that whispered when the wind picked up. Lena looked up at the sky. "We're going to get a perfect view of the stars tonight." Jake, always the one with a crush he couldn't admit, nodded too eagerly. "Yeah, totally. Amazing view." Everyone noticed. No one said anything. By sunset, 2 tents were up, the fire was going, and music played softly from a portable speaker. They sat in a loose circle, passing marshmallows, telling dumb stories, and throwing pine cones into the fire just to watch them spark. Remember that time in year 9 when Tom tried to impress Sophie and fell off the bike ramp? Felix asked. "Oh no," Tom muttered. "Yes." Nora clapped, and he pretended it was part of the trick. "I still have the scar," Tom added, lifting his sleeve dramatically. The laughter died down slowly, giving way to the sound of the fire and crickets. Lena sat beside Jake, close but not touching. She leaned her head on his shoulder without saying anything. He froze for a moment, heart thudding like a drum, then relaxed. They stayed like that until Felix stood up. "All right, I'm calling it. I want to be awake for sunrise." "You never wake up before noon," Nora said. "Exactly. I'm trying a new me." With grins and yawns, the group began splitting off. Tom and Felix took one tent. Nora had a small solo one. Jake and Lena disappeared into the second larger tent, not saying much. Inside the tent, it was warm, not from the weather, but from nerves. Jake tried not to seem tense. "So, you want the left side?" Lena smiled. "We literally have the same sleeping bags." "There's no left side, Jake." "Right. True. Very astute." She laughed and unzipped her hoodie. Her hair smelled like smoke and shampoo. "You know," she said softly, "I'm really glad we did this. I feel like this is the first time all summer I've actually felt calm." Yeah, especially with you." Jake's heart nearly punched its way out of his chest. She leaned closer. "Can I tell you something dumb?" He nodded. "I used to think you didn't like me." Jake blinked. "Lena, I've had a crush on you since year 10. There was a pause. Then she kissed him. It was short, soft, honest. Neither said anything for a second. Then, outside, a loud crack. Jake sat up. "Did you hear that?" Another snap, closer, like twigs being stepped on. Lena whispered, "Jake, someone's out there." He unzipped the tent slowly, peeking outside. The fire had dimmed to embers. Beyond it, dark shapes of trees swayed gently. "Snap, closer now." "Maybe it's a fox," he said, trying to sound casual. Lena was already pulling on her shoes. "Foxes don't walk in circles around tents." From Nora's tent, "Guys," Tom shouted. "Felix? That you?" "I thought it was you," Felix called back, a tremble in his voice. They all gathered at the fire, flashlights in hand. The forest looked like a wall of black. Suddenly, something dashed across the edge of the field. Fast. Low. Nora screamed. Felix dropped the flashlight. Jake instinctively pulled Lena close. Then, silence. Not a cricket. Not a breeze. Just the sound of 5 people breathing hard. Tom said it first. We need to leave. But no one moved. Because just then, from inside Jake and Lena's tent, a light switched on. Part 2. The forest edge. Jake's jaw clenched. No one's in there, right? They stood in a frozen half circle, facing the softly glowing tent. A faint shadow moved behind the thin nylon wall. Just for a moment. Tom raised his voice. If this is one of you guys trying to scare us, it's not funny. No response. Jake took one step forward, flashlight trembling slightly in his hand. Stay here, he whispered to Lena. Like hell, she said, stepping beside him. Together, they moved toward the tent. 3, Jake whispered. 2, 1. He unzipped it fast. Nothing. The light was just the LED lantern they'd left on by accident, its battery pulsing low. No signs of anyone or anything inside. Felix let out a shaky laugh. Okay, false alarm. Maybe the wind moved it or something. But Jake frowned. The zipper was closed. They double-checked the campsite. Nothing seemed disturbed. No prints in the dirt. No broken branches. No glowing eyes in the forest. Eventually, after much convincing, they returned to their tents. Sleep didn't come easy. Morning came too fast. The sun filtered through thin canvas walls, warming the tents. Birds chirped loudly, unaware they had freaked out a group of teens just hours earlier. Jake stretched out, groggy. Lena was still asleep, a soft smile on her face. He smiled too, until he noticed something odd at the base of the tent. A shoe. Not his. Not Lena's. He unzipped the tent. Outside, Felix and Tom were already up. Jake held up the shoe. Anyone missing this? Tom squinted. Wait, that's not ours. Felix blinked. Is that blood on the side? It wasn't a lot, but enough to send a chill through Jake. Nora joined them, and together they searched the area again. This time, they found something else. A torn piece of flannel caught on a bush near the tree line. Felix bent down. Guys, this is messed up. Like seriously messed up. Someone was here. Tom looked around. Do we know anyone who wears flannel and would mess with us? They didn't. And even if they did, who would leave a bloody shoe? Nora crossed her arms. I vote we pack up and go. But Jake stared at the trees. No, I want to know what's out there. Jake, Lena started. I'm not saying we go deep in the forest. Just the edge. We stay close together. Just look. Reluctantly, they agreed. 5 teens, hearts pounding, stepped just past the field's edge. The woods were quiet. They moved in a line, flashlights out of habit, even in daylight. The trees whispered in the breeze, tall and dense. After 10 minutes, they found it. A small clearing, barely touched by sunlight. And in the center, a backpack. Jake approached slowly, kneeling beside it. It was old, faded, but not dirty. Inside were a few items. A notebook, a pack of gum, and a phone. Guys, he whispered, this phone's still warm. Behind them, a branch snapped. They turned and saw him. A boy, maybe 17. Hair messy, clothes torn, pale, shivering. He looked at them like they were ghosts. Help me, he said. Part 3. The Stranger. The boy looked like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes darted between them, wild and panicked. His arms were scraped, his jeans torn at the knees. Jake took a step forward slowly, palms raised. Hey, Jake said softly. It's okay. You're safe now. The boy looked like he might cry. They're still out there. Everyone went still. Who? Nora asked. The boy's eyes flicked toward the deeper woods behind them. I don't know. I was camping with my brother. Near the lake. We heard something at night. Weird noises. Then screaming. Felix muttered. This is turning into a horror movie. But Jake ignored him. What's your name? Daniel, the boy whispered. Please, don't leave me. We won't, Lena said firmly. Tom, scanning the trees, asked, Where's your brother now? Daniel's lip trembled. I don't know. I ran. I've been hiding since yesterday. The group stood in silence for a moment. It was Nora who made the call. Okay, let's go back to our camp. We've got water, food, and phone signal. Jake offered his hand. Daniel hesitated, then took it. His grip was weak, trembling. Back at the field, the fire was dead and the tents sat quietly in the morning sun. The normalcy felt strange now, surreal. They sat Daniel on a folding chair and gave him a bottle of water. He drank like he hadn't had any in hours. Tom pulled out his phone. "I'm calling the police." Daniel flinched. "No, don't. Why not?" Jake asked. Daniel swallowed. "If they think I did something to him, they'll take me away. Please, just help me find him. We can't just—" Tom started, but Felix cut in. "Look, maybe he's just scared. Maybe he's telling the truth. We don't know." Lena looked at Jake. "What do you think?" Jake stared at Daniel, who looked like a leaf in a storm. "I think he needs help. We're not going into the woods again, not deep. But we can at least check the lake trail. 10 minutes out. If we don't find anything, we call." Everyone nodded slowly. They packed flashlights and stayed close. Jake and Daniel led the way. The path to the lake was narrow and slightly overgrown. Sunlight barely pierced the tree canopy. Daniel kept looking over his shoulder. "Are you sure it was this way?" Felix asked. Daniel nodded. "We took the same path yesterday." After 10 minutes, they came upon another clearing. A half-collapsed tent sat under the trees. A small extinguished campfire lay nearby. Daniel froze. "That's our site." They approached cautiously. Jake called out, "Hello? Anyone here?" No answer. Jake checked the tent. Inside was a sleeping bag, torn down the middle. A backpack. A single trainer. Lena found something too. "Jake, over here." On a nearby tree was a carving. Deep, frantic letters. "Stay away." Jake's heart sank. Nora looked pale. "Okay, that's enough. We're calling now." She took out her phone. The police arrived 45 minutes later. Two officers, friendly but serious, questioned Daniel while the others gave statements. They secured the area and started a sweep. By early evening, the group was back in the field, watching the sun drop behind the trees. "I feel like we lived a whole movie in 24 hours, Tom said, lying on the grass. Felix nodded. A weird, scary, kind of sad one. Jake sat with Lena, her head resting on his shoulder again. "I still can't believe all of that happened," she whispered. He nodded. "But we're okay." Lena turned to him. "And about last night, before everything, I'm glad you told me." Jake smiled. "I'm glad you kissed me." She kissed him again, this time slower, more sure. Later, they all lay under the stars in sleeping bags, fire crackling low. Daniel had been taken into care, the search for his brother ongoing. They didn't know how the story would end for him, but for now, their own story was safe. Together, as the fire burned low and the forest hummed, one by one, they fell asleep. 5 friends. One unforgettable summer night.